I prefer to do the question along the way. I think it's easier, especially with that subject. So please try to interact with me to make me feel I'm not just alone in my house, okay? So what I want to do today is to share 3 of the 45 different tax saving strategy that we have. Unfortunately, 92% of the CPAs are not doing advanced tax strategies. Why? Because they don't have time. I'm in the US now, I'm from Quebec, but I'm in the US now, so the stats and the strategy that I have can apply to the US and Canada too, of course. But the stats in the US is there are 700 individuals or businesses for 1 per CPA. And the CPAs after 500, they are already maxed out. So that's why we see popping up the HR Block, the Walmart, and the Costco who are doing taxes, because there is a big shortage of 200 people per CPA. So that's why most CPA, only maybe 5, 8, 10% of them are doing advanced tax strategies. So that's why I'm working as a business consultant, tax consultant. I'm in a business since 31 years, a bachelor in actuarial science. And I was a financial planner in Canada for 20 years, mutual fund broker and this and that. And in the US, a few years ago, I decided to take my license back in the US. So if you have questions in the US or Canada, I should be able to answer probably 80% of them. I'm an ex-champion motorcycle racer. That's how I made my name in the international speaking industry. And I'm a co-author also with Les Brown, the infamous Les Brown, #1 international bestseller. I have my book, Win the Race of Life, available on Amazon and on my website. And I'm also co-author with 6 other books. So I came here, I didn't speak English. I had a little beautiful family in Saint-Cyrénée, little tiny place in Charlevoix. So my dad was a farmer, and I always said, I want to travel the world. And everybody said, oh, you cannot do that. It's impossible, right? Coming from a little town like Saint-Cyrénée, for those who know that town, it's about 800 people in a big city like Long Beach in California. So I love my family, didn't visit them in the last year, but hopefully I'll visit them soon. So I didn't speak English in 2007. My goal was to become an international speaker. Everybody laughed at me because my English was speaking like a cow. Still today, 10 years later, my accent is still thick, but I managed to be speaking in India, USA, Africa, Paris. I don't know how many hundreds of interviews on TV, radio, magazines, and all that. And my first thing, and hopefully you're taking note, is with no fears, you are unstoppable. And every time somebody told me I cannot do something, I was just focusing even more. And the 5 secrets of the high achiever, which is another of my talk, but the first one is focus. Number 2, adrenaline. Number 3, discipline. Number 4, coaching. And number 5, practice. Okay, focus, adrenaline, discipline, coaching, and practice. I became a champion volleyball player, champion motorcycle racer, top 10% financial planner in Canada. And now I'm in the top 2,000 national social security advisor in the US. So if you put those 5 secrets of the high achiever in action, I can guarantee you your business, your personal life, and your spiritual life will grow also. I went from 180 miles per hour to 8 knots. I became a champion boat racer, sailboat racer a couple of years ago. I was able to participate in the world championship in the sailboat racing in Long Beach. Within 10 months, I was able to coach people in sailing, and I never sailed before. Same thing in motorcycle. I got my first motorcycle at 31 years old. At 33 years old, I was on the racetrack and on the podium. So if you want to have a champion mindset, be a high achiever, hopefully you will take a lot of notes in that presentation. Of course, I went in radio, magazine, TV, in a magazine with Oprah Winfrey, Donald Trump, Zig Ziglar, blah, blah. I got all books. I'm in a DVD, and also I built my real estate analyzer. So enough about me. I'm not an attorney. I'm not an accountant. I have absolutely no desire. I work in collaboration with people. So I can answer probably 80% of your questions and problems. And the top 20%, that's where you go and seek for advice and collaboration with all the experts. So if I cannot answer personally, trust me, I have enough people, Canada, US, and Europe to answer your questions. Now, how to increase your bottom line in your business. We saw last year with COVID, that was a pretty rough year for most people, and probably 50% of the businesses will never go through that. Yes, we kind of maybe survive right now still, but there are a lot of businesses who will never be able to thrive again. And these are a couple of the reasons, and these are the few points that I want you to really focus today. To increase your business value and your profit, your cash flow, you need to increase your revenue. We saw last year a decrease of revenue, so we need to compensate with the other aspect of the business. I'll share with you a couple of strategies to increase your revenue and to reduce your expenses. A lot of people are on recurring expenses, spectrum, cable, business, association, and this and that. And last year, a lot of people had to downsize that portion of the business. And there is a strategy with cost remediation and cost, I forgot the other name. I'll have another slide on that, but the cost remediation, the experts, they can lower your expenses by about 20 to 25% for businesses, manufacturers, dentists, professionals, and things like that. So reduce expenses in being conscious of your budget, personal budget and business budget. The problem is nobody cares to talk about finances. We go in and out and days and nights building our business, building our entrepreneurship and this and that. But who pays attention every single month of every single penny that you are spending? This is the big question. And last year, as a business consultant, I consult and I help a lot of businesses to cut their expenses so like that they can survive and do more stuff after the COVID. But if you cannot survive, you will never be able to keep your business. Save taxes. There is somebody who just said they do it daily. Congratulations. Save taxes. So that's the main topic for today. Add a revenue stream, books, CDs, magazine. There is a little, you can build your own training on a CD. You can go to Kunaki, KUNAKI.com. You can record a little training on your computer for free. You upload that, you put a branding on it, costs you about $5 at Fiverr.com to do your branding, your cover and your back of the CD. They package that for less than $2 per CD, no minimum. So if you don't have a product online right now, I encourage you go to kunaki.com, get one done, takes 2-3 days, just get your template together, get your branding out there, get the training and get people. You can mail a CD and also you can do your virtual training, of course. So all kind of ideas of that, and training the interns. That's how I made my money in Canada, and that's how I sold my business at 36 years old, my financial business. and got a check for 4.2 times the renewals of my financial and insurance business in Canada. A pretty good check. So if you don't train interns, how can you increase the value of your business? Pretty much impossible. So if you do all those things for the next 5 years, you prepare, you exit. At 26 years old, I was saying that I want to retire at 40 years old. People were laughing at me. I was able to semi-retire at 36 years old. They didn't laugh so much anymore. Now they were asking me advice. How did you do that? Because at 26 years old, I hired an assistant part-time. I trained him. At 3 years later, I was able to hire him full-time, push him to do his insurance license, financial planning license. I trained him. I put him with my clientele. So when I left in 2006 in the US for my motorcycle trip and RV and traveled 21 states, 10,000 miles, I was managing my business over the phone and Skype. In 2006, barely nobody knew Skype because I prepared. So I'm telling you, you need to prepare at least 3 to 5 years in advance to save taxes and to increase the value of your business. In one case of our client, instead of paying $350,000 in taxes, we were able to save him with 3 different strategies. He was able to pay only $80,000. So he was saving a lot of money for 5 years. So now he has more money in his bank account for the next 5 years. He got $1.35 million for 5 years. And when you sell your business, if the multiple is 5 times the revenue, some industries is 10 times, some industries is maybe 2, but let's say average about 5 times the revenue, he plus the 1.35 million he got in his pocket, that will be a saving of 2.7 million. I know for a lot of people, those numbers are big, but divide them by 10. Even if you are able to pay $8,000 in taxes instead of 35 at the end of the year, it's a lot of saving. And in 5 years, if you sell, you will put $270,000 in your bank account. This is more the numbers for the small and medium businesses, but still, even if you divide that by 10, who doesn't want to have $270,000 more in their pocket, right? So if you have any question, you can ask me. Now, reduce expenses, just keep the question flowing, please. Okay, budget tight, do it yourself. Do a lot of things, do it yourself. I'm a fix and flipper, and I do probably half of my fixing myself. I didn't know how to do flooring, how to do backsplash, how to do anything. I didn't know nothing. I started real estate investing in 2008 in the US. I did 14 deals in 18 months out of states because the ROI in the States were 25 to 35, 40% ROI, when in Quebec it was minus 2% or maybe plus 4%. So I'm always about going where the money is, and there are many different ways to do it. I heard the guy before me was talking a little bit about real estate, and I have a full topic on that. But if you are able to get real estate, is the most valuable tax strategy ever. I have another slide on that too. Cost remediation and cost reduction. I talked a little bit about how to save about 20 to 25% in expenses. Be creative. Stop being in the box. I never fit in the box nowhere. I was always an extraterritorian, an extraterrestre, what you say in French. And I always thinking about, hey, how can I do something differently? The market is saturated. 70% of the businesses are small and medium mom and pop shop. So if you don't have a unique value proposition, or if you don't have something that is really outside of the box, that would be really hard to distinguish yourself. And me, because I was a motorcycle racer when I started in the speaking industry, they told me, you need to choose between become a speaker or a singer and forget about the motorcycle racing in your presentation. I did that for maybe a year or two, didn't feel comfortable. And when I started to speak and sing during my speech and include my motorcycle racing as images, as powerful, that's where my speaking business started to grow up. So again, think outside the box and don't listen to anybody who's discouraging. Okay, that's a big part of my book too. Know your numbers and ratio. If you don't know how to calculate your ratio, I have different Excel spreadsheet. Call me, I'll get a consultation for free with you guys. I want you to know the numbers and your ratio. Always negotiate. Just ask, is it the best you can do? And you just pause, right? All negotiator, all big sales guru, silence is powerful in sales. Is it the best you can do? Are you sure you cannot go lower than that? Why can you not give me a 10% discount? I'm a recurring client with you since 2-3 deals. Why can you not give me 5% or 10%? Just negotiate and don't accept no for the first answer. Maybe try 3 or 4 different ways. And reducing curing expenses, as I said before. Now, on the taxes, a lot of people are in business, but they are not in business. They commingle between their company, their personal account, they have legal issue, they don't have a clean bookkeeping, they don't play by the rules. Unfortunately, there are a lot of crooks and a lot of dishonest people in business, in real estate, in any kind of businesses. So for you, hopefully you can sleep at night because you are 100% honest. Okay? Depreciation and cost segregation. Cost segregation for a $12 million building, you can save about $600,000 a year in taxes. So for a $1.2 million business, you might be able to save about $60,000 in taxes. I can guarantee you that last year when we reviewed tax return and we were able to find 20, 26, 35, 60 grand by reviewing their taxes in the last 3 years, I can guarantee you those people stayed in business because of that extra little $20,000 or $26,000 cash flow. So every thousands of dollars count in a small and medium businesses. Of course, look and be professional. Branding, we can do branding, internet, landing pages, internet website for, you can do it yourself. I can coach you how to do it yourself for less than $100. You can get everything, your business card, your logo, your website, your funnel, your page, everything. Fiverr.com is the best friend you can get. Groove Funnel is a new platform also. They have the e-commerce integrated. I think they are still free. You can get 3 websites for free. So why not? Like, there is no excuse. People are thinking or trying to build a branding, but they want to pay $2,000 or $5,000 to do this and $3,500 to do your sales funnel. And if you start to add up everything, that will cost you forever. So just try to start to do it yourself. Again, tax and legal professional and the corporate veil. If somebody doesn't know that name, corporate veil, Google it. Commingling, Google it. If the government, and a lot of people, they think a LLC is not a good entity or a C Corp, whatever, it's not good if it's not a box that you don't commingle with your personal. If you have a contract with somebody, a joint venture, you need to have a piece of paper in your minutes, in your book, in your business book, so you don't break the corporate veil. probably 70% or 80%, we need to clean up their books, their bookkeeping, their corporate minutes, so like that they are legal proof against lawsuit, against the IRS coming back to you. If you commingle with your personal, how can you fight an IRS penalty or something? They will say, you run your business like it's your, and you and your business are the same. That's why a lot of people get in trouble. And when you get that $10,000 penalty, civil penalty from the government in the US, and I think it's also $5,000 or $10,000 in Canada, you will see it's not fun. So be sure you Google corporate veil, you clean your book, your bookkeeping. If you need help, just let me know. Now, I see that Carl, did you have any question, Carl, from people or?
Yeah, certainly. If anyone has any questions, don't hesitate to toss them in the chat. I don't see any questions yet, Nadine.
Do I speak too fast or?
No, you're doing great. You still have 22 minutes, so
perfect.
More time.
Awesome. So, become an entrepreneur A to Z. We have to wear a lot of hats: marketing, technology, sales, employees, HR. We have to do everything on our own until we get to a certain level. And when I started to become an entrepreneur, I didn't get a job in actuarial science in 1992 when I got out of the university. I was thinking I will earn $180,000, travel, live in Sydney in Australia or Los Angeles. It never happened. Got depressed for 2.5 years and earned like $18,000 as a secretary, living in a studio in a basement in Montreal with 3 feet of snow. There were absolutely nothing in my future about my dream. Absolutely nothing. So finally, I saw a little ad that was 2 or 3 lines in the classified. Become your own boss, work 40 hours a week, take 4 weeks of vacation, call us, something like that. I'm like, oh, I'll try that. So finally, I became an insurance agent at that time, got my financial planning license, got my mutual fund license, and 3.5 years later, not that long later, I got that car. All the guys, like, you know, the insurance business is really a manly man business. There were at that time probably less than 10% of women. Now it's probably about 30% women. But at that time in 1996, that was about 10% as a woman. But I'm a kind of a tomboy and I'm a tough cookie. So I'm just, in my head, in 5 years, if I can make $40,000 a year, I didn't do the $40,000 the first year like they tell you, and like everybody disappear within the first year, because it's really rare that somebody will make $40,000 in their first year. But because I had absolutely no goal, no dreams anymore. Remember, I was at the bottom. So I was saying, hey, if I can make 40 grand, work 4 days a week, 4 weeks of vacation. I met a lady, she was working 4 days a week. I said, that's what I want to do. In my 3rd year and a half, finally, I served a multi-millionaire client. After serving his wife, she had only $100,000 with me, which was giving me $400 a year. I was giving her more service than him. He had millions with his other broker, and he said, you give more service to my wife after 3.5 years. I want to give you 1 million. Go back, come back, go home, come back in 2 weeks and give me your presentation. I'm like, okay. 3.5 years, I didn't have the knowledge for a multi-million-dollar client, but I had the people behind me. I had the tax specialist. So they helped me to build a $10 million tax shelter for $1 million for that client. And at retirement, we were able to give him 39% and more money at retirement. That's called the TFRA, the tax-free retirement account. I think my next slide is about that. But all that to tell you, like that big client brought me other clients because the CPA and the attorney after my presentation, they said, I need to do that for my clients. That's how I started to partner up with CPAs and attorneys in Montreal. And that's what gave me the flexibility, the freedom, and the money. That's why we are entrepreneurs. If you want to work 80 hours a week, you don't need to be an entrepreneur and bust yourself up every day and having nightmares at night. Just go work for somebody else. If you aim for working less than 40 hours a week, that's exactly what you need to do. Become an entrepreneur, but you need to work hard. It takes 3 to 5 years to build a business. And this client and a couple of other my rich clients, I was asking them, how did you become rich? Why are you rich? And pretty much all of them, they told me, I became rich because of real estate, or I saved taxes and kept growing my wealth with real estate. And I kind of didn't really understand at that time. I'm like, oh, I don't want to have tenants, you know, but there was about 18 different strategies in real estate, which I learned a real estate class here when I came in the US, when I analyzed franchises, restaurants, Starbucks coffee, whatever. And real estate, when I came here in 2008, I needed to find another stream of income because, you know, millionaires have already 4 or 5, 6 different streams of income. So I started to study real estate. That was a 120-hour classes. And one of the teachers, he was teaching this. You can have a total ROI, return on investment, of 45.73%. You have appreciation, mortgage reduction, tax deduction, and cash flow. And I know in Quebec right now, and even 10 years ago when I left, and even 5 years ago, there is nothing that is cash flowing, or barely nothing. In Ontario, the same. Toronto is probably even worse. Vancouver is probably awful, right? It's hard to find something that is cash flowing. I'm in California right now. It's really hard to find something that is cash flowing. But if you have 30% plus 11 plus 5.2 on the other side of the real estate, that is a beautiful thing. And tax strategy, probably out of the 45 different tax strategy, there are probably about 10 or 12 related to real estate. So if you have a high income, a high W-2, or a good business that is running a lot, just buy one building a year or one building every 2 years. And you will see how those tax reduction and the depreciation, and even better when we do the cost segregation, you can get so much more money back every single year, because on paper you are losing money, but in reality you don't. Okay, so if you don't have real estate, please just be sure you study that, you do the right thing with the right people. But 45% ROI with a $0 cash flow, there is nothing else that can beat that. And most rich people, multi-millionaire people, they have both. They have their business and they have real estate. Okay, I have a free presentation on winningwithnadine.com. I have a full hour of real estate ratio and everything. It's not the goal for today, but I want for people to think and to start to be open-minded for real estate. Even if you invest in the US, the next crash is about to come. As soon as the moratorium are done, the inventory will start to flow and the eviction process will start. And now we are in a big high, but that will not last. Like stock market, everything goes back down every about 8.6 years. Now we are at 12 years of the bull market. So we are stretching the rubber band, and we need to be prepared. We need to brace ourselves. We need to protect maybe 50% of our money and things like that. Okay? So crashes are part of life, always. In real estate and business, you'll do good deals, bad deals, but you just need to get back up and go back. And at 25 years old, I almost committed suicide when I was in my low, as I said. And that last morning, I called my mom and I said, I want to commit suicide. Thank you very much. I'm done. You did everything you can. And that last night, she really listened to me. And that's what became my mission, my book. Everything that I do is to inspire people to never give up. And if there is one thing you can retain from that presentation today, is you always have a friend. You always have a mentor. You always have somebody somewhere to help you. And just remember that song. When you down and trouble and you need some loving care and nothing is going right. You've got a friend, oh yeah, you've got a friend, yeah, yeah, yeah. Any comment, any question before I go to the next and last strategy, I think? Cannot hear you, Carl.
Awesome, Nadine. We're sitting at about 12:33. So if you can do it in 12 minutes, I would say, yeah. Let's try and get through it in 12 minutes.
Yeah, don't worry. My presentation, I always cut it in the middle, so that's fine.
Oh, no worries. You have 12 minutes. We do have one question from Cheryl. So, but let's go through. Let's hear the next strategy and we'll go from there.
Okay, cool. So create extreme wealth. This is an example of 40 years old that invests only $31,000 in 1 year. The other 14 years is borrowing money to get $14,000 from the bank, leverage others people's money, OPM. We all know about that. And at 55 years old, that person will be able to get $160,000 a year for 30 years tax-free. This is the same TFRA that my $10 million client I talked to you about on steroid. Okay, this one is kind of a bigger case. The ROI within the next 45 years, the person will get 4.8 million. They invested only once, $31,000. We are talking about 1,593% ROI. It's 344% per year. Who doesn't want that? And I understand it's kind of maybe a little too big for a lot of people, but $31,000 for 40 years old, we can probably build those if you can put like $10,000 for 3 years or something like that. You see, these are all the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer because they don't know about this. I learned about that in 1989 in my actuarial science degree. And when I started in the finance business and serving clients, that's how I came around that. And my $10 million client was a big example. Now, maybe a smaller case, that is this one. All that is non-taxable, non-reportable income to the IRS, to Canada. I did my first TFRA, tax-free retirement account. My first year I was in the business and I was 25 years old. But this one is kind of a really small cake, potato, right? This is a building $150 a month for the next 2 years for a client, $250 a month the next 2 years, and $400 later on, only at 6% return, 35% tax bracket, marginal tax bracket. At 60 years old, that person will get $176,000. If we take money out of it at 5% tax-free, remember that 5 or 6% is tax-free, that will give that person $8,841 instead of $5,508. we are talking about 60.5% more money at retirement. And these are kind of small cases that pretty much everybody can do. You need about $150, $200, $300 a month to make it work. Okay, but that will give you 60.5% more money tax-free at retirement. Now, at the same time, that will also help on mitigate risk. And with your business, we can also merge that into a business account and things like that. So that also help in your entity, your LLC, C Corp, that also help on the legal strategy, because the bankruptcy lender cannot come to it. If you die, it doesn't go to probate. So there is a lot of different things here that is at the same time mitigate risk. It's kind of a 3-in-1 kind of program. So my major question to you today is, what is success for you? Define that. Write that down next week and call me back. Go to my website, NadineLajoie.com. You can get a free tax return, free tax report to see how many of those 45 different tax strategies that you can do for yourself. Don't wait that the government will tell you what to do. The government is pushing the RSP, the 401k, the IRAs. Why? Because they give you a little tax return today for your $100 you contribute. And at retirement, that would be $600 or $700. So you will be taxed 6 or 7 times more. Government loves you. Government doesn't bring tax strategy in school. They don't bring financial literacy. I'm a speaker since 17 years now. It's still hard to go in school and teach leadership program and taxes and finance and business and entrepreneurship. The government wants to control people. They don't care about entrepreneurship. We saw that last year. Big businesses can be open, but the small business, oh, you cannot. Government is here to control you and your money. And I'm here to tell you, don't do it. Learn, call me. I give free consultation to people and that free tax return, and I'll be able to help you in many ways.
And again, I had myself on mute and then I said, awesome. So the mouth was moving, but the words weren't coming out. How about a hand for Nadine? You can use your reactions, or I'm going to use my reactions, and then I'm going to go to the chat and put a big row of A's there to show our appreciation for Nadine. A lot of insight that Nadine has shared today. Thanks, Nadine, for taking time out of your day to speak with us. We did have a question come in, and it was from Cheryl. Cheryl, if you're on, you can probably ask your question directly. Cheryl, are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, we can hear you.
Awesome. Awesome job. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I 100% agree that people should do things on their own until they're big enough and have a big enough bank account to hire. But what advice do you give to people who haven't got a clue? That they can't do it on their own.
Yeah, okay. They cannot do it on their own. Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com. For $5, you can get your branding, your logo, your articles, build a website. You can get everything, almost everything for $5. And of course, which is one of my 5 secrets of the high achiever, is coaching. You know, coaching and mentorship is the most important thing in business. I always have 2 or 3 coaches at a time. Because let's say if somebody hired me as a coach, I took the route, instead of charging people $5,000 or $10,000 for my coaching program, I charge $47 a month. But I will be able to give you 20,000 different ideas and homework to do. There are other people who will coach you and mentor you and all that. I just took the route that I'm semi-retired. I don't need to make that much money, but I wish that people can go on. And I'm sure, Cheryl, you can coach people and help people on some of this way. Carl, Kennedy, Ron, everybody here. We have always an expertise to share with people. And another way to do it freely is accountability partner. I talk a lot about that when I do my leadership training and employees and businesses. Just choose somebody, one or two or three different accountability partners that have different skills than you, that you can help them, they can help you. Everybody needs help and everybody can give help. It's just to try to match those people together as an accountability partner. And you can learn a lot now on YouTube. You can learn everything on YouTube. I learned how to do my backsplash on YouTube, right? Everything is on YouTube now. People like me on NadineCoaching.com, on winningwithnadine.com, on NadineLajoie.com. I have free trainings. People can start to learn from that. I'm sure you guys also get some free training. Just get a bunch of things for free, hire a coach, a mentorship, and do accountability partner.